Hi and welcome to Leitrim Daily. My name is Breifne and you are listening to the Sports Roundup Show, episode 115 of the podcast. Today we are going to be taking a look at athletics and specifically the Dublin City Marathon, which took place on Sunday, with plenty of Leitrim interest in the course of 26.2 miles around our capital city. We'll also be looking at the GAA with plenty of action across our playing fields in both hurling and Gaelic football. There's some underage finals down for decision, as well as a look at some of the results in rugby and soccer over the weekend. But first, we're going to start off with athletics, where Leitrim double Olympian Colin Griffin managed to finish in the top 20 of the event. I caught up with him yesterday to see how he was after a phenomenal run on Sunday. Over the bank holiday weekend on Sunday morning in Dublin, the Dublin City Marathon took place. It's a national event really, and there was huge Leitrim interest in it, but the top Leitrim finisher finishing in the top 10 in the country and top 20 overall was Ballinammore's Colin Griffin, and he joins me now. Colin, welcome to the show.
Good evening, Breifne. Thanks for having me on.
It's been great watching all the various people from around the county take part in the race on Sunday morning, and it was a pretty phenomenal performance from yourself. You finished in 2:23. We'll talk a bit more about that, what that means later on. But what was it like to take part in the marathon on Sunday?
Yeah, look, it's a great atmosphere. I always enjoy competing in Dublin Marathon. I've been doing it for the last 5 years. The last 2 years in particular, the weather has been as good as you could expect, nice and cool and dry and sunny, with little or no wind, and yesterday was exactly like that. So perfect conditions for racing, a nice little bit of chill in the air, but it was, and the support around the course is always really good. I suppose with the running community in Ireland being so small, and everyone kind of, people would recognise you around the course as well, or you'd recognise some voices and faces around the course as well. So, look, it's a very special occasion. I always enjoy competing in it, and yesterday went really well.
Now, you talk about the running community, but obviously the wider athletics community as well. You'd be fairly well known, to be fair. People wouldn't have to go too far to recognise you as a double Olympian. Obviously, in 08 and 12, you took part in the race walk. How different is a marathon from a 50-kilometre race walk?
Easier, a lot easier. No, I mean, I suppose... my approach now is a lot different. Like, obviously, I'm retired from elite sports for the last since 2014. I've been kind of running just as a way to try and keep myself fit and occupied, and maybe dabble a little bit as well as just, I suppose, being my own guinea pig for my own coaching and stuff as well. So what I suppose I just enjoy now is just competing in those races. I kind of miss that competition environment, and I suppose big races like a marathon and a few half marathons and 10Ks I do during the year kind of keep me in touch with that. So look, I said it's a lot more relaxed, but I enjoy it. But I suppose the excitement, I suppose, of competing in a big race like that is still the same. Still the same attraction.
You say it's more relaxed, but I know you tweeted beforehand about your mother had finished third many moons ago in the women's event at the race. How much of you kind of looks back towards that, looks back towards your own career where you excelled on an international scale, and look back and really want to compete at an event like the marathon in Dublin?
Look, I mean, I grew up in that environment where my mother was competing, in her peak. So I was always in the car around the country going to different races, watching her compete, watching others compete. I suppose she moved up to the marathon quite late in her career, maybe a little bit too late. She probably had a lot more potential there. And she may have had a decent chance of qualifying for the Olympics in Barcelona, or maybe even Seoul Olympics. Had she moved up a little bit earlier, maybe been a bit more attacked the marathon with a bit more confidence. So look, I suppose the fact that she came so close to qualifying, I suppose it's inspired me to to try and make the Olympics myself in my own right, and which I did, and then look, I mean, it was that motivation was there from a very young age.
In terms of your own performance of the weekend, 2:23 is phenomenal. Most club runners would be aiming for somewhere in the region of 3 to 4 hours. So to come in so low is very, very impressive. What was your target going into the race?
Yeah, in the back of mine, 2:24. Now, my previous best from Rotterdam in April this year was 2:26:43, I think it was. And then this time last year in Dublin, I did 2:28. And then my first running marathon 4 years ago, I did 2:33. So I've knocked 10 minutes off that in the last 4 years. But again, look, it's transitioning from race walking to running. That curve is going to be on an upward trajectory, once I'm training consistently and have no major gaps in my training. So obviously there'll come a point where that'll start to plateau a little bit and precious seconds will be hard earned from there on. But look, 2:24 is in the back of my mind. I had a small little injury scare 3 weeks ago, so I had to just manage that carefully, and I was a little bit cautious going into the race, but felt really good early on. And the first, Dublin's probably known as having a few little challenging hills along the course, but again, when you know that in advance, you can plan your tactics and your strategy and be able to know where you have to work hard and know where you can recover. And probably the biggest climb in the Dublin Marathon is actually the first 7 miles when you go to the Phoenix Park, when you swing left at Castleknock. You've done a lot of climbing there, but it doesn't feel like much because you're fresh early on. There's a lot of support there. And once I got that 7 mile mark, and I was actually bang on 2:24 pace before I even hit the downhills, I just thought this, I just had it in the back of my mind. I was thinking this is going to be a good day, and got to halfway with the group feeling really good. It was a little bit of a tricky park between 10 and 15 miles that I kind of know as well. That's always a bit of a hot spot. So in that group, we kind of worked together, got through that. There's a few little drags there. And then once we turned at 15 miles, which is at the Walkinsdown Road roundabout, in the back of my mind, that's where the race starts. And you have a nice little downhill recovery patch there where you can kind of up the gears. And that's what I kind of did. And split the group up then. And only one guy went with me. And we kind of worked together for most of the race. And then he kind of got away from me in the last couple of miles.
It's phenomenal listening to the kind of the mind as you're talking through that. But for a lot of people, and I count myself in this, I did complete Dublin Marathon once. Now it's nearly a decade ago, and I wouldn't be in any fit state to do it now. But in terms of that, I remember Roebuck Road was just horrific. About 18, 19 miles. People talk about hitting the wall, and I hit it there, and I literally had to walk the rest of the way. A lot of people are at a much lower level, and I know it's a family affair for you as well. Your brother, Ronan, also finished the marathon yesterday. What was it like waiting at the finish line for him to come through?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's because it was nice too, because both my parents came up to watch it, and so they took great pride in it too, given that their love for athletics has been passed on to us. And my brother, I suppose, look, he was probably, when we were growing up, he was probably more naturally talented athletically than I was. I suppose when he got to the late teenage years, he had other career interests and I suppose pursued that. And he still probably kept himself fit and stuff over the years. And then last year he entered the Amsterdam Marathon and ran about 3:19 there. And then he knocked a good 7 minutes off that there yesterday. So it was, it was nice to see him come through as well and finish. And one of my cousins and my uncle was also competing as well. So it's good family interest. Very
much a family affair. Well, listen, Colin, congratulations on a fantastic achievement. As I said, 10th of the Irish placed finishers, 19th overall. Fantastic for anyone from this part of the world to be at that level, but obviously you're no stranger to being at the front end of races. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks, Breifne.
Now, Colin may have been top of the pile from a Leitrim point of view, but there were plenty of others who took to the streets along with him. We're going to run through some of the results that I've managed to track down over the last couple of days. Apologies if you're not in this list, but congratulations on finishing what is a pretty grueling course in Dublin. Colin Griffin, as we mentioned, 19th place in a time of 2 hours, 23 minutes flat, while Clive Glancy of Carrick Athletic Club finished a little bit behind, 2:32. Phenomenal time for the Carrick and Shannon athlete. David Lipsett of North Leitrim Athletic Club, he finished just under 3 hours at 2:59, while Tomas Sundstrom, who is married to a Carrick and Shannon girl, 2:59.14 his time there, so in under 3 hours also. Adrian Gurn, 3:08. Ronan Griffin, as we heard, 3:11, just under 3:12. John Keenehan, 3:20. Niall Faulkner of North Leitrim Athletic Club, 3:23. Kenny Murtagh of Carrick and Shannon Athletic Club, 3:31. Desmond Gallagher, 3:37, while Paula Mollohan was the first lady home from the county, 3:38 her time. Gerry O'Brien, 3:38.43, while Christopher Daly was 3:41.33. Niall Comerton finished in a time of 3:43, while both Jonathan Fahey of North Leitrim Athletic Club, 3:47, and Pat Heffernan at the same time, just a couple of seconds behind in Carrick Athletic Club colours. Mickey Cull, 3:48.05, while Emily O'Brien was unfortunate to miss out on that 4-hour mark, 5 seconds over the 4 hours. Michael Comer, 4:03, while Anthony Flanagan was the final finisher for Carrick Athletic Club, 4:32. I also tracked down a number of other participants in the race with Leitrim connections in no particular order, as I don't have times to match these particular runners. Orla Farrell, Colleen Morris, Edel Burke-McKeown, Karen Burke-Faulkner, Nessa Campbell-Kennedy, Frances Mannion and Lee Carney. Congratulations to all who participated and completed the event on Saturday. A little closer to home this weekend in Gaelic games, the Vistamed Junior A Football Championship came to a conclusion, with Glencar Manor making it a double 112 to 6 points over Anaduff after their senior championship victory earlier in the month. Congratulations to everybody in Glencar Manor. Don't forget, of course, they are also in the Junior B Football Championship final to take place very, very shortly. On Saturday afternoon in the Division 1 Football League final, St Mary's were unfortunate to go down to a very strong Mohill side. The final score 110 to 1-8. A last minute goal from St Mary's cut the deficit from 5 points to 2 at the very end, but Mohill well worth their win. I caught up with some of the players from both sides after the game, but first the Mohill manager, Liam Keenehan. Liam, your thoughts? Finally lifted a trophy this season. You must be delighted.
Yeah, absolutely delighted for the lads there. You can see how happy they are with winning that league, to be honest with you, and as are we, because we put a lot of work into that league, and even at times when our backs against the wall earlier part of the year, maybe players away, players injured, we stuck at it and we got some great results, and today it was I think just rewarded. We're happy with our league performance. Yeah.
In terms of the games, how vital was that goal midway through the second half?
Oh, sure, hugely vital. You know, I thought we left a couple of chances out there. The lads wouldn't be overly happy. The game never really took off. It was sort of low tempo it was played at, and I suppose this time of year you're going to get that. Field is a bit dead, but the goal was the winning of the game, without question. Yeah.
In terms of the next year's league, less teams in the division means less games. Might have some chance of having the league finished up in the first half of the year. Would that be a big difference?
Of course. Look at when you're knocked out of the championship, it's very hard to motivate lads. I even seen the same at home in Longford. It's very hard to motivate lads that keep going. And fair credit to the lads. The last 3 weeks since we've been out of the championship, we've worked away, we've trained away twice a week, and the lads have put in a great effort. And yes, you'd love to see the league finished before the championship is over or whatever. It just makes it easier on everybody.
In terms of your own position, obviously end of the year, people assessing where they are, what's the situation, what's your own role here with Mohill? Will you be involved next year?
Well, I don't know. I suppose that'll be down to the club, and we'll sit down and reassess how the year went. But I'm delighted to get the win today. That's what we came here for. I was disappointed with how we exited the championship. I didn't think we did ourselves justice in the semi-final. We didn't play as well as we can, and I suppose that falls down to management too if the team doesn't perform on the big day. But look, today was nice to get it. I enjoyed my time down here, there's no question about it, and we'll see what happens in the future.
Is today a bit of consolation for that semi-final defeat?
Yeah, well, the lads wanted silverware. I mean, Mohill, at the moment, I think you have to make hay when the sun shines. They have a good group of footballers, and they want to win silverware. There's no question about that. And to get something, it's nice to get something out of the year. It's nice to get something out of the year. But I don't think there's ever a consolation for not going on and progressing well and winning the championship. But it's nice to get something, Breifne.
Well, listen, Division 1 League Champions has a nice ring to it. Liam, congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Breifne.
Danny Beck, what are your thoughts after that game today?
Look, delighted to finish the year with something. I suppose we were disappointed after championship, but look, we made hard work to get into the league final, so we said we made a decision as a team. We'll train on for the rest of it and try and win it like it is. Trophy at the end of the year, you know, so we're delighted.
How important is that buy-in from the full squad in terms of carrying that forward after the championship exit?
Yeah, look, there was a lot of men hurt after the championship. A lot of men we done talking in the dressing room, and we just didn't perform on the day. Like Ballinamore out, they bet us every ball. They out-muscled us. They were out-taught us on the day. Like they were just the better team, and we were just really, really disappointed. Like we were pumped up for that game more than any game, and then we were just flat, you know. So look, it happens. Slow enough pace, I'd say, but like there wasn't a lot of possession wasted or a lot of wides or that. But I'd say it was actually a decent game to watch. Yeah.
St Mary's had a shout for a free at your end, and then all of a sudden the ball broke and it ends up in the back of the net to turn probably a levelling score into a 4-point lead. That was probably the pivotal point of the game. What were your own thoughts when you took that 4-point advantage?
Just see it out. Look, we said at half time that we wanted to start the second half and get the first 2-3 scores. That didn't happen. Plans generally don't go right for us, but we dug in. The lads dug in. Like, I suppose the extra bit of fitness really kicked in at the end of the day. I suppose, look, that's down to the boys. They stayed training, so look, credit to them, you know.
What's the plans for over the winter with next year in mind?
You're probably about the 100th person to ask me that, and probably not the right person. I don't know. Look, there's a good batch of young lads there. Like, they should be contesting championships. They know they should be, but look, there's a certain level. Other teams have lifted it. Mohill need to keep raising that bar, you know. So
you say that they. Is there anything to be read into they? Will you be around yourself next year?
I don't know. I'm not saying no, and I'm not saying yeah. Look, time will tell. The body is getting older, slower, sore. Kids come along, it's a bit tougher, but look, we won't rule it out.
Well, listen, congratulations today. Enjoy the celebrations.
Cheers, thank you. All the best.
Conor Glancy, how are you after that game?
Listen, we're disappointed. It's a hard one to take. We only found out last week, I suppose, we were in this final, and we trained twice this week. We gave it everything we had. We thought second half we were coming back into it a bit, and that kind of goal killed us. So I know it is what it is, and fair play to Mohill.
I suppose you had 4 or 5 weeks off there where you maybe weren't collectively training, or at least that's what the rumour was going around beforehand. How true was that?
That was true, yeah. We weren't expecting how the other game. I think if they drew in the other game, Ballinamore drew, it was looking like it was going to be both of them, put it that way. And we got word last week that we were in it. No, we didn't do a lot now the last 6 weeks. Some guys playing rugby and playing soccer and stuff and tipping away. But no, we trained twice this week and we gave it everything we had. Just came up short.
In terms of the actual game, that goal pretty decisive in the second half. Even though the goal went in last minute, it was the last kick of the game. But before the ref blew the whistle, were you thinking, let's get this kick out, or what was going through your mind, or did you know it was already kind of done and dusted?
No, I didn't have a clue. I thought, what was 2 points in the end, was it? Yeah, I was thinking, just get this ball and with goal chances, whistle went. But no, I didn't know. I don't know how much time he played. Was it? Some of the guys were saying 35 minutes or something. So no complaints. Ray's a good referee and he's always fairly accurate.
What's the plan for over the winter and coming back next year, maybe to go one further or two further maybe than the quarter-final this year in the championship?
Yeah, definitely. As you can see yourself there, we'll be young and old, I suppose.
You count yourself with the young or the old, Conor?
In the old, definitely, in the old. No, a lot of young lads there, and more to come through next year. So it's just us old guys keeping the show on the road for a while and just trying gym work over the winter, and come January then we'll go at it again. And definitely we kind of went out in a whimper in the quarter-final this year, and we were disappointed with that and we let ourselves down. And today better performance, that's what we were looking for. But definitely next year, the aspirations in Carrick every year is to win a championship, and that's just it. Whatever we haven't won one since 13. It's kind of every year. If you don't win one, it's hard to take. So definitely next year we'll be on the wagon again. 2020
is the year. Listen, Conor, the very best of luck and hard luck today.
Thanks very much, Breifne.
In underage Gaelic football, the Under-15 Division 3 Championship came to a conclusion also at the weekend. Dromahair ran out winners over Mohill in quite a bizarre scoreline of 4 goals flat, no points, to 1-6 for Mohill. So Dromahair won the championship final without actually registering a single point in the game. 4 goals, good enough to put Mohill to the sword, and Dromahair will be delighted with their final victory in the Under-15 Division 3. There was a full round of games in Division 1 of the Under-15 Championship, and there were wins for St Mary's, McDiarmid the Gales and Gort Lettra, with one more set of games to play in that particular competition. What that means in practice is Glencar, Manor and St Mary's lead the way. Although St Mary's do have a game in hand, they have yet to play Melvin Gales in the competition. McDiarmid the Gales and Gort Lettra on 6 points with a single game remaining, while Melvin Gales are on 4 points with 2 games left to play in the competition. Allen Gales 2 points after 5 games, while St Bridget's are at the bottom of the table, 0 points from their 6 completed games. In Father Manning Cup action, the under-16 county team were in action on Saturday afternoon, and they were beaten by 5 points by Meath, 114-26, the final score in that particular game. In hurling, Carrick were in action in the Junior Hurling Championship for Connacht. Defending champions, they unfortunately will not lift the crown again this year. They were beaten in Markovitz Park yesterday by Nave Owen, the Sligo champions, on a scoreline of 17 points to 111. Hard luck to our own county senior champions, but competing in the Junior Championship in Connacht. A tough defeat to take. In rugby, it was further disappointment for Carrick and Shannon. They were beaten by Craigs on a scoreline of 13 points to 12. In soccer, in the SSE Airtricity League, Sligo Rovers ended their season with a disappointing 2-1 defeat to Bows, despite having held the lead in the first half. A Darrell Fordyce strike put them 1-up in the first half, but 2 second-half goals for Bohemians, a free kick from Danny Mandrew and a fairy tale penalty 9 minutes from time from Bohemians captain Derek Pender on his last ever league appearance to put all 3 points onto the Bohemians record on the league table. Sligo finished their season on 42 points in 7th place in the league. Just to catch up on the underage soccer in the region, we had Saoirse Cummins on the show last week talking about her under-13 side in Manor Rangers, and they had an under-13 National Skechers Cup tie against Clare Morris, which they came from behind to win 3-1. They now go into the last 8 in Connacht. It's an exciting cup run for the North Leitrim boys. There are, of course, 2 club championship games being played in Connacht of Leitrim significance today. St Mary's represent the county at A level in the minor football championship. It is last year's under-17 side, and they compete in the under-18 minor championship in the province. They play St Bridget's of Roscommon, which will be a very tough task for the Carrick and Shannon side. Melvin Gales are the representatives in the B grade, and they also face Roscommon opposition in the shape of Strokestown. The Melvin Gales game throws in at 7 p.m. and St Mary's are off at 8:15. Both of those games taking place in the Centre of Excellence in Ballyhonus. The very best of luck to both sides as they bid to reach a Connacht club final in what will be a massive achievement for both teams. I spoke to St Mary's Diarmuid Kelleher ahead of the game. Now, we spoke last week with Joe Flynn from Carrick about a busy weekend for one Diarmuid Kelleher, but unfortunately things haven't panned out for you, Diarmuid. You were supposed to be playing with the Division 1 League final, the Hurling Connacht Championship and the Minor Club Championship, but you're not going to play a minute in any of them. Tell us why.
I was out training on Sunday morning and I was just unlucky. I was going for a ball and I had a collision and I'd done the AC joint to my shoulder.
In terms of the Connacht Minor Club Championship, though, tell us a bit more about that. What exactly is that? Which team from Carrick is playing, representing the county in that?
Well, it's the under-17 team that won the championship last year. So now they've come of age, under-18, because the rest of Connacht is playing at a higher age. So now we're coming together now and trying to go back into play that.
So a large number of that team, including yourself, would have played senior football with Carrick this year. So it's quite an experienced minor side, really.
Yeah, it is. There's a good few of the lads there to be there in the senior team thereabouts, and yeah, it's kind of that's probably the advantage we'd have over the other teams, because a lot of them would be playing their own age in different counties and they wouldn't get up. But then again, we haven't trained as a whole team together for a long time, whereas they're playing their championship with their team. So it's kind of, that'll be another challenge as well.
Okay, well listen, I know you're not involved yourself personally, but I'm sure you'll be in Ballyhonus on Tuesday evening. So the very best of luck to your team in that game.
Thanks a million.
And that, folks, is all we have time for today. Thank you very much for listening in. Don't forget, you can subscribe to this show. It's completely free. Just click follow or subscribe in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And we're also now available on YouTube. Thanks for your continued support, and I will be back tomorrow with Faces and Places, where we visit the Leitrim Boxty Festival. Talk to you then.